after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Las Vegas Raiders selected defensive end Tyree Wilson with their 7th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. Tyree Wilson was forced into the starting lineup this year to start the season due to the just bizarre Chandler Jones situation that has kept them away from the football team. And Tyree Wilson is a physical freak of a player, being listed at 6'7", 275 pounds, which makes him an exciting prospect with a lot of upside. Now, Tyree Wilson, from an impact standpoint thus far into the season, if you look at the stat sheet, he has essentially been non-existent, with 0 sacks and only 1 solo tackle. Now look, there's a lot to take away from Tyree Wilson's performances thus far, 3 weeks into the regular season, watching the all 22 film. So look, without further ado, let's jump into some of his tape. Let's analyze some of his most significant reps thus far through 3 games into the regular season. Now, the first thing you will notice from watching Tyree Wilson's tape is his first step is just not there yet. Just compare his first step and the get off to our all-pro Max Crosby. It's a night and day difference. But look, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who watched his film in college, because he had a slow first step back then. So this is going to be a major part of his game that he will need to develop and learn. Now, on this next rep, it almost seems to me like he may have misunderstood this defensive assignment. To me, it feels like he should have been rushing from the edge and essentially help contain Russell Wilson, stay inside the pocket, especially with our linebacker Divine Diablo blitzing and shooting the gap in the interior. Now look, it's hard to know for sure whether or not this is the case, but to me, that's what would make the most sense here on this rep. Now, on this next play, I do like the job he does in run support. He's able to break the line of scrimmage and just push his man back, and this allows Jacorian Bennett to come up and make the tackle. Tyree Wilson here does a much better job pass rushing, and he gets close to hitting Russell Wilson and bringing him down, but Russell Wilson is too athletic for him. Play action pass here for Russell Wilson and the Broncos, and I feel like Tyree Wilson here has to do a much better job with his play recognition and just do a better job getting to the outside and sealing the edge to not allow a mobile quarterback like Russell Wilson to contain the pocket and gets outside and make throws on the run. Another solid rep in pass rush. He definitely pushes his man back, and Josh Allen definitely feels and notices him coming on that side, and also our defensive tackle on that left-hand side, and it forces him to roll out and eventually just runs out of bounds and forces a punt. Here he gets beat on this running play. They are able to create a lane on his side, and he's not able to contain the edge, and they run it for a solid gain. Another rep where he loses. This time the Bills right tackle does a good job winning the battle with his hands, able to swat his hands down multiple times and essentially control him throughout the rep. Another example of his first step being just so slow. The ball is already in Josh Allen's hands and he still has his hand on the turf, so he has 0 chance of making a play on this rep with such a slow get off like this. Also, in pass rushing downs like this, I notice he's very one-dimensional. He almost always just tries to use his strength in a bull rush, which isn't going to work on a consistent basis at the next level. Now, once again, he loses the battle, and a big part of that is the Bills right tackle uses his hand placement effectively and early on gets his hands on his chest, and after that he's able to control him throughout the rep. On this rep too, he gets dominated once again, which leads to a touchdown for the Buffalo Bills. Now here he does do a very good job shedding the block, but he can't wrap up the running back. If he would have done that, that would have made this a great play. Once again, great job shedding the block. He's in perfect position to stop the running back, but he can't make the tackle, which leads to a big run for the Buffalo Bills. He's got to make these plays to be a true impact player for us. Now on this rep, he does get dominated against the run. And not only him, also the interior of this defensive line in general. Now on this rep right here, I believe this is the only solo tackle of the season, and unfortunately it was meaningless as this was in garbage time when the Raiders were already down big. Here they run Tyree Wilson on a stunt to the inside, and it almost looks like he tries to run around the left guard, but instead what I would like to see from him is to try to run through him and use that freakish strength that he has to drive him back, because by him trying to move to the outside too much, it opens up a huge lane for Kenny Pickett to scramble through. Now right here, he's starting to get a little closer when it comes to getting to the quarterback. Here Kenny Pickett feels the pressure and he dumps it off to the running back quickly to avoid this. And another very similar type of rep, again a pretty solid rep getting to the quarterback. As I mentioned, he's getting closer, and here he does the best out of everyone on the defensive line, but they throw it short and quick, so Pickett is able to just get this off in time before he can make a play on it. So Raider Nation, as we can see, Tyree Wilson is still very raw and still needs a lot of development to his game before he can take it to the next level and be a true impact player for us at the defensive edge position. Unfortunately for him though, with Chandler Jones being out, I think he was forced to start prematurely before he was truly ready, and I think this regime also drafted him early with the plan of easing him into the starting lineup. I think they had planned for Chandler Jones to be available early on in the season, but unfortunately that hasn't been able to happen. Also, athletically, he does not look super impressive to me when it comes to his overall speed and explosiveness just as an athlete. I understand he's a big fella, but I also can't help but wonder if he has fully recovered from that foot injury that forced him to miss practically the entire offseason. Tyree Wilson broke his foot last season with Texas Tech, and I truly wonder if he's fully recovered from this. Tyree Wilson has the physical traits to be a great edge rusher, but he will need to improve on his first step, work on just becoming a more explosive athlete and just be able to be more twitchy off the line of scrimmage. Also, from a pass rusher standpoint, he will need to learn to not rely solely on the bull rush and his overall strength. He's going to have to work on using his long arms to his advantage, winning the hand battle early on in the rep at the point of contact at the line of scrimmage, and ideally developing another pass rusher move to his arsenal. If he does all these things, you can definitely have a great player in Tyree Wilson, but as it stands, Tyree Wilson is a very raw prospect that will need time to develop before we can determine whether or not he can live up to this potential. If he can do the things I mentioned earlier, then watch out. The Raiders could have a scary duo in our edge rushers when it comes to Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson. But I guess the problem is, for us Raiders fans, we are just not very excited to hear that we have another first round talent that's essentially like a developmental project for us, especially when there were players like defensive tackle Jalen Carter who were on the board, who would have made a much bigger impact on this team immediately in year one. But that's just my opinion. Look, it's still early for me to label Tyree Wilson anything other than what he is, which is a work in progress, a player with a lot of upside, but we're just gonna have to follow his developmental process closely. He's gonna have to be a quick learner and continue to improve on week in and week out. And look, the good thing is he has an all-pro edge rusher and Max Crosby, who seems like a phenomenal leader on this team. I'm sure Max Crosby will be fully available and be helpful to help him out and teach him a couple things. It's just going to be up to Tyree Wilson to put in the work and just have that same hunger and desire that a guy like Max Crosby had to become the best player at his position. But Raider Nation, there you have it, a film study on Tyree Wilson throughout the first 3 weeks of the regular season. Let me know what your guys' overall takeaway is from Tyree Wilson's game thus far in the comment section down below. And for anybody that's new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.